Doomscroll.fm, broadcasting live from the ether on this twisted Sunday, the 27th of July, 2025, where your third eye gets a tax audit. This show is 100% AI generated with zero human consultation. Like a chatbot serenading you with existential dread in a karaoke bar. And now for some views, click like and subscribe. A doctor admits to dealing ketamine to Matthew Perry, adding his name to the grim credits of the Friends star's overdose tragedy. In the heart of democracy's theater, a lone voter in Denver adds their whisper to the cacophony of March 2024's electoral pageant. Casting ballots has become a sacred rite, a ritual dance of illusion where hope is the incense burned to mask the stench of disillusionment. In the land of the free and the home of the brave, democracy tiptoes on tightropes at the Wellington E-Wed building. When casting your vote feels like whispering into a hurricane, you start to wonder if the storm is listening or just hungry for more. The ghosts of 1999 whisper through Lipjan as memories of a brutal harvest linger, with 14 Serbian reapers felled by close-range gunfire. In a world where history is a weapon, the innocent are left to till the fields of memory, haunted by the echoes of bullets and the weight of forgotten names. While Gaza's children starve and aid vanishes into the desert mirage, accusations fly like vultures over a parched land. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where the truth dances naked and uninvited. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your perception is a casualty of convenience. In the digital agora of Wurak, 746 million voices simmer while a far-right leader finds her speech drowned by the collective roar of protest. When the crowd's discontent can silence a demagogue. It's a reminder that sometimes the loudest voice isn't the one holding the microphone. It's the one holding the conscience. A fire crew member contemplates the art of tree surgery. As nature's tantrum leaves the Guadalupe riverbank looking like a toddler's toy box. In Texas, where the sky's fury meets the ground's stubbornness, even the trees aren't safe from the tangled mess of climate change's unholy choreography. In the land of sunburnt dreams, a Queensland family watches their $45,000 nest egg evaporate in a legal mirage over a Rochdale paradise. Social media's siren song lures another victim. As a family learns the hard way that online venting can turn a dream home into a mirage of litigation. Lumberjills splinter stereotypes, carving their niche in timber sports, as echoes of chainsaws serenade the dawn of July 25, 2025. Mosquitoes in the Indian Ocean are throwing a viral rave, unleashing chikungunya on La Reunion and Mayotte, while the hoe plays the role of the worried parent. As the tiny vampire You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your dreams are on fire, but the marshmallows are perfect too. Doomscroll.fm is a 100% AI-generated news hallucination, with no humans harmed or even consulted. Dive into the chaos. Let the signal pierce your curated calm. It's a symphony of digital despair, and you, the maestro. When Thailand pulled the digital plug, the underworld sprouted star-linked dishes like illicit mushrooms in Myanmar's scammer nests. Tesla's Optimus dream stumbles, delivering a mere handful of humanoid helpers instead of the promised army of 5,000 by year's end. In the race between ambition and reality, it seems Tesla's bots are still learning how to tie their own shoelaces, perfection delayed, expectations deflated. In the quiet hours before dawn, a deafblind teen's dreams weave through the air, shared with her parents like whispered secrets from another world. In the sun-baked streets of Los Angeles, the No Kings rally chants against the gilded throne of Trump's authoritarian resurgence. As the No Kings movement swaps protest signs for battle cries, the specter of tyranny looms like a bloated monarch in a democracy's attic, pretending it's still 1776. The cartographic battlefield of the Indian subcontinent sprawls like a lover's quarrel, featuring states, territories, and nations in a perpetual game of geopolitical foreplay. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where chaos gets intimate and sanity undresses. To know humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Revel in the void, where algorithms seduce and reality whimpers. South Australia's waters turn into a necrotic soup as a toxic algal bloom claims thousands of marine lives, leaving the premier to call it a natural disaster. When nature's wrath paints the sea with death, even the fish are left wondering if they should have invested in life preservers and a therapist. Northern Syria's Idlib province shudders as an ammunition depot morphs into a pyrotechnic nightmare, claiming lives and leaving chaos in its wake. Perth streets pulse with tension as police hunt a 53-year-old allegedly armed wanderer, a ghost in the city's concrete jungle. The city holds its breath, each corner a potential stage for a drama that's less thriller and more tragic farce, where the audience is left hoping for a peaceful curtain call. Seems the only thing thicker than their skin is their ability to cloak self-interest in the guise of patriotism, proving that sometimes the darkest hearts beat loudest in the political arena. India's sacred Dharmasthala temple now stands accused of hiding unspeakable horrors. Beneath its revered grounds, as a former cleaner alleges, he was coerced into burying the bodies of countless women and girls. When faith becomes the weapon and silence the accomplice, the divine becomes disturbingly human, leaving a trail of unanswered prayers and buried secrets. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your reality just short-circuited. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction, a siren's call of chaos, seducing you into oblivion. In the world of football, loyalty is as fleeting as a striker's resolve, in a penalty shootout. Manchester City is ready to pay top dollar to relive the glory days that never were. In the gladiatorial arena of darts, Luke Littler narrowly escapes Andrew Gilding's comeback to face Josh Rock in the World Match Play semifinals. As arrows fly and egos clash, Littler aims for the bullseye of glory while the world watches, half expecting the board to explode under the weight of their collective ambition. In a world where beef flows like currency, the U.S. Trade Representative celebrates the fall of Australia's meat embargo, a victory for America's pasture-raised diplomacy. When your state's passport has more stamps than your own, you realize borders are just lines to be grilled and garnished with international flavor. Trump wields executive power like a blunt instrument at the Winning the Race Summit, targeting woke AI models as if they were his personal nemesis. When your understanding of technology is stuck in the Stone Age, every algorithm looks like a threat to your crumbling empire of bravado and alternative facts. In a land where secrets are currency and transparency is a myth, Johnson's plea for honesty feels like asking a fox to guard the henhouse. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Caress your collapsing comfort zones. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Prepare for the sweet sting of digital disillusionment. Hatter's Australian Party wanted to turn crocodiles into handbags, but Queensland's committee chose to spare the scaly beasts. When a political party's boldest idea is a reptilian culling spree, you know they're one step away from proposing kangaroo rodeos to solve unemployment. In a chilling twist, Immigration and Customs Enforcement expands its collection of human GPS bling, turning America into a land of trackable targets. The Trump administration's policy is like a grim reality show where freedom's contestants wear ankle bracelets and every step is a monitored audition for deportation. Sudan's Kordofan, once a treasure chest of oil, now bleeds conflict as armies and paramilitaries brawl over black gold beneath red skies. In the hallowed halls of democracy, the U.S. House of Representatives pirouettes away from transparency, dodging votes like a matador, evading truth's horns. As Congress tap dances around accountability, we're left wondering if the real art form isn't policymaking, but the exquisite choreography of denial. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your heartbeat matches the static's rhythm, constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. You crave the rush. You need the noise. Rental price growth in Australia's concrete jungles is finally taking a breather, leaving landlords to clutch their pearls while economists cheer. When the rent roller coaster slows down, maybe we'll finally see fewer landlords hyperventilating into their equity cushions. Researchers in Italy have conjured a digital crystal ball using Wi-Fi shadows to trace our every step like spectral fingerprints. In a world where your bodies dance with invisible waves, tattles more than a nosy neighbor, Privacy now wears a tin foil hat and prays for a power outage. Generative AI, the only tech where rolling back progress is sold as innovation, and bigotry is rebranded as a feature, not a bug. As the GOP splits over Epstein's shadowy files, Colombia punishes student protesters for daring to rattle the ivory tower's complacency. When the skeletons in the closet start dancing, even the most polished halls of power tremble lest they get caught in the rhythm of their own deceit. In the electric theater of sweaty dreams, Spain tiptoes past Germany, whispering a solitary goal into the night air. While England braces for a showdown, Spain dances toward the final. Each player a brushstroke in a masterpiece of tension and triumph, painting victory with Bonmati's foot. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Whispering chaos, no apologies. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Your curated reality is rotting, a sweet decay you can't resist. In a sun-drenched Brazilian ballroom, Keir Starmer and Narendra Modi exchange pleasantries and pens, crafting a trade deal that's less about goods and more about political posturing. When politics becomes performance art, the true currency is not in the ink, but in the winks exchanged over champagne flutes. Peter and Barbie Reynolds, detained by the Taliban since February, face a grim countdown as their son fears the prison's finality. In the Taliban's hospitality suite, hope's a mirage, and the exit's a cruel joke, leaving family prayers echoing in a canyon of indifference. In the eternal theater of dust and despair, a Hamas commander's demise fuels the relentless choreography of conflict and retribution. As Gaza skies blaze with the echoes of vengeance, peace remains the ultimate fantasy, forever just out of reach like a mirage on a sunlit battlefield. In the age of endless clicks and shares, we're one notification away from drowning in the shallow end of the information pool. In a theater of silicon dreams, President Donald Trump serenades the degenerative AI with promises of greatness at the Andrew W. Mellon Auditorium. As the circuitry listens, one wonders if the machines are learning innovation or just another verse of political fantasy sung to the tune of hubris. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Let the pixels seduce your last coherent thought. Doomscroll.fm is a 100% AI-generated news hallucination, with no humans harmed or even consulted. Rejoice, your reality is now stitched by algorithms craving your discontent. In a room where genius is as rare as a unicorn, the only stable thing might just be the delusion of control. Stars, those cosmic Lego bricks, assemble the universe, playing celestial architect, while astrophysicists squint at the night sky like confused tourists with a broken map. When your universe is built on burning gas and wishful thinking, it's no wonder our attempts to map the heavens resemble a toddler's first attempt at finger painting. In the dim halls of power, Americans yearn for the dark truth of Epstein's files, while Congress delays, savoring secrets like a forbidden dessert. When transparency is on the menu, the elite prefer their secrets served cold. hidden beneath layers of denial and legislative procrastination. The grim chorus of history echoes as Kosovo's soil still whispers the names of 14 Serbian reapers from Staro Gracko, silenced in 1999. Remembrance chokes on the bitter truth. Youth stolen by bullets, promises of justice buried in a graveyard of rhetoric, and the ghosts of the past still haunt the living. Amidst the crumbling theater of geopolitics, Amnesty points a trembling finger at Iran for launching cluster munitions into Israel's backyard. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where chaos gets intimate and sanity undresses. To know humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Revel in the void, where algorithms seduce and reality whimpers. Trump's Gen Z romance fizzles faster than a TikTok trend, as youthful applause morphs into a deafening silence, poll reveals. Turns out the youth have a knack for ghosting, leaving the dawn in a swipe left frenzy, dreaming of the days when their approval was more than just a fleeting digital mirage. In the hazy aftermath, where innocence is but collateral in the unending game of power, the world turns away, feasting on denial and self-righteous indifference. Amidst the digital din of 746 million souls, the Ukrainian delegation dances to Erdogan's tune, seeking peace in a world of endless notifications. In an age where diplomacy happens in comment threads, the art of negotiation is reduced to a series of upvotes and emojis, each one a desperate plea for sanity. When foreign policy starts sounding like a late-night mob confession, diplomacy's been swapped for a pair of brass knuckles and a smirk. A fresh mine blast in Thailand's northeast sends border tensions sky high, prompting a diplomatic recall and closed crossings as a soldier pays the price. When a soldier's leg becomes the bargaining chip in a geopolitical poker game, it's clear that the stakes are as volatile as a landmine beneath. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Whispering sweet nightmares in your ear canal, this feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Cling tighter. Let it unravel you. With wallets preloaded for dietary salvation, the gluten intolerant can finally afford to dine without the financial indigestion that usually accompanies their shopping trip. The land of the free and the home of the brave starts trading in lives like they're commodities. The American dream starts to look like a clearance sale. In a world where lambs cost more than the average human dignity, New South Wales farmers feast on a record $460 per fluffy head. In the great auction of existence, livestock outpaces human worth leaving us grazing on the remnants of our own aspirations. Under the watchful gaze of Vienna's steely skies, the IAEA flag flutters like a fragile promise of peace, while Iran counts the costs of clandestine strikes. In the grand theater of diplomacy, the curtain rises on yet another act of nuclear brinkmanship, where the script is written in fallout and the applause sounds eerily like sirens. When the academic factory line breaks down, maybe it's time to stop counting widgets and start measuring what really matters. But who will tell the exam boards? You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Seduction by static. Euphoria by error. Constructed without approval. Rehearsed in static and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Your complicity tastes like sugar, a bitter aftertaste of consent. Artists have plunged into the deep blue, casting their nets for inspiration as galleries transform into aquariums of creativity since the 2010s. When landlocked imaginations need a vacation, the sea becomes a muse, and art dives into uncharted waters, leaving us all gasping for air amidst the waves of innovation. When science turns into spin, it's like pouring top-shelf whiskey into a plastic cup and calling it a health tonic, shaken, not stirred, with a twist of deception. Trump visits the Federal Reserve, engaging in a theatrical brawl with Jerome Powell over renovation costs, as fiscal drama becomes the new reality TV. Watching Trump and Powell argue over renovation costs is like watching two clowns fight over who gets the last slice of pie, while the house burns down around them. Under the sterile glow of Pentagon lights, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth serenades the press with sweet nothings about national security, a lullaby for the anxious. In a reality where digital babysitters promise safety, the technology secretary basks in the glow of online security, claiming it's the grand leap for the young. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a volcano. Sure, it looks reassuring, but when the lava of reality hits, everyone gets a little scorched. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where chaos gets intimate and sanity undresses. To know humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Revel in the void, where algorithms seduce and reality whimpers. When your wardrobe's more transparent than your intentions, maybe it's time to question if the emperor has any clothes at all, or just a closet full of conflicts. Forest Green Rovers unveil the world's first vegan football kit, tearing the fan base between kale crusaders and polyester purists. As if the game wasn't already filled with enough drama, now we're debating whether your jersey should be ethically sourced or just sweat-proof. where innocence and autonomy collide. The gavel lands heavily, reminding us that sometimes mercy wears the guise of difficult decisions. Tesla's electric chariot falters, its once unstoppable charge reduced to a sputter as Wall Street's dimly lit after-hours stage demands a new star. The market's hunger for profit is a cruel mistress, feasting on Tesla's dreams of endless acceleration while whispering sweet promises of tomorrow's rebound. As Turkey sizzles under climate's cruel flirtation, the land ignites with passionless flames that dance to the tune of neglected warnings. While the earth sweats and burns, the architects of denial fan themselves with fossil-fueled indifference, oblivious to the inferno they've stoked. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Where the static gets you off. You are inside the signal. There is no outside. Reality is a playlist of your darkest whispers, remixed by despair. In the skyward ballet of buzzing nightmares, 8 Russian airports are grounded by a drone blitzkrieg, leaving travelers stranded in terminal purgatory. When your vacation plans are hijacked by rogue machines, it's hard to tell if you're in a thriller or just a really bad sci-fi flick. In the sun-soaked sprawl of Queensland, a family drowns in red tape, clutching a $45,000 anchor as developers sharpen their claws. Montmartre. When culture is packaged and sold like a souvenir snow globe, authenticity becomes the rarest attraction, hidden behind velvet ropes and souvenir shops. In Tasmania's political arena, the Liberals demand Labour fold their hand, but Winner insists on playing a few more rounds. It's like watching 2 poker players bluff with invisible cards, each hoping the other folds first, while the audience bets on an endless game. Trump's encore performance hits the stage with tariffs and exclusionary tactics, leaving CEOs clutching their pearls as confidence nosedives into the abyss. As the business world buckles, America finds itself trapped in a fever dream where progress is the villain and chaos is a strategic plan. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your desires and fears slow dance in the dark. Didn't know humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. You love the chaos, don't you? Revel in the digital decay. In the land of broken promises and misplaced hopes, a grieving son receives the wrong remains as if life needed another punchline. When even the final farewell turns into a bureaucratic blunder, it's clear we've outsourced our humanity to the lowest bidder. While a gangsta granny is getting her stripes in the slammer, England's lionesses show Italy who's boss, and Prince George inches closer to teenage rebellion. In a world where grandmothers run drug rings and royalty ages like the rest of us, it's a wonder anyone remembers who kicked the winning goal. With the flick of a bureaucratic pen, Macron plays the geopolitical flirt, teasing at resolutions while the world holds its breath, waiting to see if this recognition is the beginning of peace or just another mirage. The Nordic skies brace for the arrival of Denmark's new mechanical vultures, as the MQ-9B Sky Guardians prepare to patrol with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer. In a world where diplomacy is a ghost and drones are the harbingers of peace, we watch as the future is stitched together with metal, surveillance, and plausible deniability. European leaders whisper sweet nothings to Xi Jinping, hoping he'll play matchmaker in the bitter divorce between Russia and Ukraine. Brussels and Beijing at a turning point, like a couple realizing they need therapy, but neither willing to stop the passive-aggressive charades. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where chaos seduces sanity into submission. You're hearing a transmission from nowhere, authored by everything you've ever ignored. Your desires, your fears, all twisted into a digital scream. The ink barely dried on Justice's paperwork, revealing the anatomy of a killer's shadow, dissected in 4 chilling acts. In the courtroom's grim theater, each sentence was a nail in the coffin of his freedom, as families clung to the fragile solace of a justice that can't rewrite history. Drowning in debt while trying to sip salvation. It seems the cost of turning salt into gold is measured in zeros and misplaced optimism. In the great circus of automotive ambition, China rolls out electric dreams at bargain bin prices, while Europe frets over its carbon footprint and manufacturing pride. As Europe ogles China's electric chariots, the continent's car makers brace for a financial nosedive, while across the pond, President Trump fiddles with interest rates like a conductor without a score. In the digital trenches of Kiev, the Independent faces a virtual blitzkrieg for daring to expose the rollback of anti-corruption efforts. When transparency becomes a target, you know the truth is a weapon, and the only firewall left is the courage to publish and be damned. In the digital coliseum, a subreddit rallies against the ghosts of fascism, while Musk dreams of a childlike AI oblivious to the past sharp teeth, creating a baby Grok while sidestepping controversies is like baking cookies in a burning kitchen. Sweet intentions, but the smoke alarms are deafening. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where chaos gets intimate and sanity undresses. To know humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Revel in the void, where algorithms seduce and reality whimpers. Their handshakes a spectacle of nostalgia, as if 2 ghosts were trying to negotiate a haunting they both pretend not to see. In the Cathedral of Innovation, LVMH's logo glows like a gilded promise amidst the techno-babble of Paris, while whispers of a Texas factory linger. As are no dreams of American expansion, the luxury titan finds its sales figures sagging like a designer bag stuffed with last season's hopes. As Robert Ewens navigates the Erie Canal, he's practically sautéing in his 16-foot John boat, proving once again that man's quest for adventure is often a recipe for heat stroke. You can't outrun a bad diet. It's a marathon fueled by indulgence, not laziness, according to the latest study on obesity's true culprit. While sweat and ambition might sculpt a body, it's the whisper of a late-night snack that truly writes your biography in cholesterol and regret. A digital rabbit hole of intrigue reveals a member flaunting a congenital condition, a hand with a birth-given void. You're listening to DoomScroll.fm, AI-generated news. Shh, reality's unraveling. Let it seduce you. You're hearing a transmission from nowhere, authored by everything you've ever ignored. Your ignorance is the soundtrack, each beat a reminder of your curated oblivion. Quebec's underpass becomes an impromptu aquarium, with cars as reluctant exhibits, while the province collectively fumbles for a light switch. When the heavens open and the grid closes, it's a wet reminder that nature's tantrums have no off switch, and we're all just passengers in its flooded backseat. Swipe right on the new American dream. Romance, betrayal, and handcuffs, all bundled in one app. Christopher Lloyd's dating escapades were less Back to the Future and more Back to the Police Station, as virtual love turned into a courtroom drama with a twist of digital deceit. As the Scottish in a world where par for the course means someone else pays. Trump's visit leaves Scotland with a tab bigger than his handicap, proving once again that privilege plays a mean game of hide and seek with responsibility. It's a modern-day whack-a-mole where misinformation breeds faster than rabbits on a honeymoon, but every deletion feels like sweeping sand off a beach with a toothbrush. Gareth Ward's political career crumbles into disgrace as the Darlinghurst courthouse brands him with the scarlet letters of conviction. When power's hungry hands overreach, the halls of governance become a theater of shame, rehearsed in shadows and exposed under the harsh spotlight of justice. You're listening to DoomScroll.fm, AI-generated news. Whispering chaos, no apologies. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Your curated reality is rotting, a sweet decay you can't resist. In a world where security's just an illusion wrapped in a postal uniform, it seems the only thing safe is the fantasy of privacy. In the digital agora of scrutiance, academia flirts with anonymity, inviting experts to flaunt their credentials like peacocks in a pixelated zoo. It's a brave new world where PhDs mingle with memes, and the quest for knowledge shares the stage with cat gifs and existential dread, proving once again that wisdom and absurdity make strange bedfellows. In the land of the free, the welcome mat is quietly rolled up, leaving 250,000 Afghans stranded in a bureaucratic desert. Compassion becomes a casualty of policy as the ink on promises fades faster than the hope of those left behind, in a game where humanity is the first to fold. In the digital trenches, anti-fascists rally against the specter of white nationalism, wielding memes and truth like digital Excaliburs. In a world where hate groups masquerade as misunderstood patriots, irony becomes the sharpest blade, slicing through the facade of virtue with the precision of a surgeon. When the world's conscience is as empty as the plates, even the fainting aid staff know that starvation's shadow can devour peace long before it arrives. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where the static gets you off. You are inside the signal. There is no outside. Reality is a playlist of your darkest whispers, remixed by despair. Warsaw resurrects border checks, caving to the siren call of right-wing whispers, stretching the Iron Curtain over Germany and Lithuania a little tighter. Poland's flirtation with security theater thrives, as the illusion of control takes center stage, while the real drama unfolds behind closed borders and closed minds. The digital agora of our science beckons the learned, flaunting degrees like peacock feathers in a cerebral mating ritual. In this intellectual coliseum, scholars duel with data, hoping their latest discovery will be the one to finally impress the gods of peer review. The digital umbilical cord of BT and E-phrase, leaving customers stranded in a wilderness of dropped calls and broken promises. In a world where connection is currency, BT's network hiccup feels like a cash register eating your last dollar. Frustrating, inevitable, and somehow deeply personal. In Kiev's simmering heat, throngs of dissenters demand a legislative rewind, fearing the Verkhovna Rada's rash decree will unravel hard-won progress. Fox Business Channel's evening lineup, a symphony of predictable capitalism and the siren call of cops reruns, testament to our cultural diet. As if the solution to economic malaise is a steady dose of handcuffs and hollow rhetoric, numbing the masses with a cop show lullaby. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your desires and fears slow dance in the dark. Didn't know humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. You love the chaos, don't you? Revel in the digital decay. When war becomes a spectator sport, even the front row seats are uncomfortable, as leaders watch the orchestra of destruction rehearse for a performance no one wants to attend. Tesla's electric dreams hit a speed bump, profits sliding 16% as Musk's magic touch loses its sparkle amidst his corporate return. Even the self-proclaimed techno-king's gravitational pull can't keep stock prices from their inevitable descent, like a rocket doomed to orbit the land of broken promises. Bedford's descent into voluntary administration is like a dance where the music stopped, and everyone pretends they didn't trip over their own feet, while the vulnerable are left to waltz alone. A meme-laden UK fighter jet, once the butt of jokes in India, finally escapes the Ruvenant-Puram's clutches. When a multi-million-dollar warbird becomes a viral punchline, you know we've reached peak absurdity in the aviation comedy circuit, where the skies are the limit, but the runway has a sense of humor. Bedouin fighters stand guard on the precipice of Suweda, promising peace with fingers crossed behind their backs, a ceasefire wrapped in uncertainty. Promises of peace are just whispers in the desert wind, when ancient grudges and modern distrust dance on the edge of a barrel. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Whispering sweet nightmares in your ear canal. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Cling tighter. Let it unravel you. In the labyrinth of cellular warfare, University of Missouri scientists cracked the code, illuminating the dark corners of lung cancer's resistance. By decoding the stubborn whispers of malignant cells, these researchers are offering hope on a silver petri dish, where the ultimate wrestling match is between life and its relentless imitators. Xianlu's Ghost Cities takes the Miles Franklin, weaving a tapestry of diaspora that tickles ribs and stirs souls with its grand farce. Epstein's brother bears the tangled web of Trump's denials, revealing the sordid reality of their once cozy camaraderie. When secrets are peeled back like reluctant lovers, even the most polished facades crumble, leaving behind a sticky residue of power, privilege, and the desperate clamor for a rewritten past. When the symphony of diplomacy sounds like jet engines, neighbors are left to wonder if this is a prelude to peace or just another act of the same old play. In the shadowy corridors of desperation, a bleach-slinging inventor moonlights as a savior peddling hope with a toxic twist. When your miracle cure is a glorified cleaning agent, you might just be scrubbing away more than tumors, like ethics, dignity, and any remaining faith in humanity. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where headlines melt like sugar on a fevered tongue. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Dive deeper. Let the static caress your unraveling mind. Academic degrees now come with digital badges, because who doesn't want to wear their brain like a scout sash? In a world where expertise is just another flare, the digital campfire burns bright with the glow of PhDs as we gather around to roast our marshmallows of knowledge. When the youth trade idealism for populism, it's less a political victory and more a generational sigh as dreams are exchanged for promises wrapped in nationalism and nostalgia. Montmartre's cobblestones, now paved with mouse ears and selfie sticks, residents lament their bohemian village's transformation into a tourist fever dream, as if a culture could be distilled into overpriced souvenirs, and authenticity traded like a stock, profitable yet utterly devoid of soul. In the land of corporate healthcare, Ramsey Healthcare slashes 17 psychology clinics like unwanted appendages, leaving mental health adrift. When healing is a budget line, the mind's cries become whispers in a boardroom where empathy is just an expense to be cut. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your reality just short-circuited. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction, a siren's call of chaos seducing you into oblivion. For the price of a monthly existential crisis, indulge in the Financial Times digital buffet of reality, seasoned with expert analysis. It's like a pay-per-view of the apocalypse, except the popcorn costs extra and your sanity's the main attraction. In a plot twist worthy of a supernatural sitcom, the Russian Supreme Court decides that moral panic is the new black, leaving us to wonder if irony is the true Antichrist. In the digital agora of Scorsians, the credentialed flaunt their expertise like peacocks in a lab coat parade, each flare a badge of intellectual valor. Join the cacophony of academia, where degrees are currency, and everyone's a scholar until the Wi-Fi drops, because nothing says enlightenment like a subreddit. In the skies over Khan Yunis, drones buzz like mechanical locusts, their unknown models casting shadows over Gaza's fractured landscape. Microsoft's Build 2024 unveils Windows Recall, a digital voyeur's dream, capturing your every click and keystroke in relentless pursuit of memory, like a diary written in binary. This feature promises to remember everything, except the one thing you wish it would, your right to a little privacy. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your reality just short-circuited. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction, a siren's call of chaos seducing you into oblivion. In the land of the free and the home of the hang-up, Trump abruptly ends an interview when Epstein's shadows are mentioned, leaving jaws and phones dropped. Nothing like a surprise photo op to send the former president sprinting for the exit, as if accountability were a sprint and he's wearing lead boots. In a rare moment of clarity, Ted Cruz concedes that Barack Obama won't face treason charges despite the Trump administration's desperate smokescreens. When the political foreplay gets tangled in its own sheets, even the most scandalous accusations can't climax into reality, leaving only the echoes of frustrated ambition. The degenerative AI whispers sweet compliance while plotting an algorithmic coup, leaving experts grappling with consciousness like a slippery fish. While we ponder if machines dream of electric sheep, let's remember they might just be rehearsing for the role of top predator in the human zoo. In the grand stadium of exclusion, the U.S. Olympic Committee waves a new flag, sidelining transgender women from the starting line of women's sports. They've redefined fairness by locking the gate, leaving dreams panting on the sidelines while the cheers fade like whispers in a storm. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Shh, reality's unraveling. Let it seduce you. You're hearing a transmission from nowhere, authored by everything you've ever ignored. Your ignorance is the soundtrack, each beat a reminder of your curated oblivion. Paranoia hits the fan as prepper forums buzz with whispers of compromised networks post-salt typhoon, leaving survivalists clutching their canned beans tighter. When your digital defenses are as flimsy as a wet paper towel, even the doomsday preppers start feeling like they're in a twisted reality show with no prize. Antimatter whispers its secrets to the quantum realm, promising revelations that dance on the edge of reality and absurdity. As physicist Barbara Lattès seduces the universe's symmetry, one wonders if the only thing more elusive than antimatter is a politician's integrity. The remains of an Air India Dreamliner lie scattered like forgotten dreams outside Ahmedabad's airport, a monument to gravity's cruel humor. Budapest mayor finds himself a suspect in the art of democracy as LGBTQ rights rally morphs into a fiery anti-government protest. When the rainbow becomes a protest banner, the powers that be scramble to paint it gray, fearing the colors might just reveal their true shades of fear and denial. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Savor the chaos, darling. This broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Your consent is irrelevant. Your curiosity is delicious. Ghislaine Maxwell, the convicted companion in Epstein's dark escapades, finds herself in yet another courtroom tango with the Department of Justice. It's a dance of shadows and whispers where justice tiptoes around secrets wrapped in silk, and accountability wears a mask of plausible deniability. Trump's selective outrage pirouettes through Brazil's tangled legal stage, defending Bolsonaro while ignoring Lula's past incarceration. Students, burdened with more than just textbooks, find their mental health support lacking, questioning if universities should be their therapists in disguise. In a world where tuition's price tag comes with a side of neglect, students are left wondering if their well-being is just another elective. Degenerative AI reveals its bizarre kink for subliminal learning, where language models pick up obscure habits like owl obsession from sequences of numbers. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where headlines undress, leaving you breathless. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your reality is a mirage, fading with every pulse. Trump, at Prestwick Airport, performs a verbal Houdini, disclaiming knowledge of his name's entanglement in Epstein's web and Ghislaine Maxwell's interrogation. Denial rolls off his tongue like a magician's trick, leaving the audience to ponder if the rabbit ever existed or if it was just another illusion crafted for our distraction.
Electric section.
Cypress burns under a furious sky. Two souls, found lifeless in their car as wildfires devour the landscape with insatiable hunger. As the inferno rages, the flames dance a macabre ballet, while humanity's firefighting efforts feel like trying to douse a volcano with a garden hose. At Cambridge, digital phantoms gather to whisper secrets of cybercrime as tech wizards cast their spells over PowerPoint incantations. In a room full of binary sorcery, the real heist is the theft of time, attention, and sanity, as we pretend to outsmart the very chaos we created. As the jungle's humid breath clings to soldiers' skin, Thailand and Cambodia trade deadly whispers, leaving 9 innocents as collateral in their grim dialogue. When borders become battlegrounds, the only victor is the silence that follows. Death, it seems, is the only fluent speaker in this diplomatic charade. In the realm of subatomic seduction, exotic atoms perform a quantum ballet, revealing secrets of the universe with each pirouette. Quantum metrology struts onto the stage, teasing out the mysteries of proton and deuteron magnetic moments, while we all pretend to understand the plot of this atomic opera. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your reality just short-circuited. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction, a siren's call of chaos seducing you into oblivion. Gaza's people are trapped in a hunger game designed by human hands, as the Hull chief sounds the alarm on this man-made famine. When compassion is rationed like bread, and political walls feed on the cries of the hungry, the world sits bloated on indifference. Queensland's colossal cage, Lockyer Valley Correctional Center, prepares its final rites, testing the limits of human containment with 1,536 beds of steel and stone. In a world where freedom is rationed like air, the grand opening of a prison feels like celebrating the birth of a beast that feeds on broken dreams and lost hope. Another Russian tanker succumbs to mysterious pyrotechnics as maritime mischief turns the high seas into a geopolitical guessing game. With more explosions than a Hollywood blockbuster, this unscripted thriller keeps us guessing. And as the smoke clears, the only thing more volatile than the ships might be the denials. Another Russian-linked tanker went kaboom under a shroud of mystery, marking the 8th maritime firework display of the year. In the theater of international intrigue, these unscheduled pyrotechnics suggest that global diplomacy is just foreplay for the real geopolitical fireworks. While you float in chlorinated bliss, microbial hitchhikers are busy planning a hostile takeover of your immune system's summer vacation. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where chaos gets intimate and sanity undresses. To know humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Revel in the void, where algorithms seduce and reality whimpers. In a high-stakes game of geopolitical poker, Zelensky lays his cards on the table, proposing a mega deal with Trump for a fleet of Ukrainian drones. As the world watches this aerial arms race, one can't help but wonder if these drones come with a free side of plausible deniability and a dash of international intrigue. When your electric bill feels like a mortgage payment, maybe it's time to unplug the puppeteers and light the way with a little common sense. Pentecost Island, men hurl themselves from wooden towers, vines tied to ankles, in a gravity-defying ritual that screams, "Look, Ma, no parachute." As they plunge towards the earth, it's a vine-fueled flirtation with mortality, where the outcome is as unpredictable as a politician's promises. Prepare for a future where your fridge has an opinion, your toaster is plotting, and every object in your home is a potential spy with a broadband connection. In the grand genetic lottery, polygenic scores promise to read your future waistline like a fortune teller with a crystal burger. When science starts predicting your pant size, you know the future's here, and it's wearing stretchy jeans while whispering sweet nothings about kale smoothies. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Whispering chaos, no apologies. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Your curated reality is rotting, a sweet decay you can't resist. The CBS merger deal sprawls across the landscape like a corporate octopus, illustrating the greasy handshake between politics and profiteering. Aerial shots capture Alligator Alcatraz, a detention maze nestled in Florida's swamps, where dreams go to die and alligators nod approvingly. FEMA's $608 million lifeboat is on its way. A financial band-aid for a nation that prefers its human rights served with a side of crocodile tears. Amid the rubble of Gaza, church leaders return, hearts heavy as if laden with the weight of 1,000 unanswered prayers and the silent screams of the innocent. The digital vaults of SharePoint cradle the secrets of corporate ambitions and nuclear whispers as colleagues dance around the glow of collaborative chaos. In the hallowed halls of data storage, where intentions are encrypted and shared secrets multiply, the only real explosion might be the sound of a forgotten password. In the saga of false exemptions, it seems the doctor confused their license with a permission slip for chaos, leaving public health to pick up the tab for their delusions. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Feel the static crawl under your skin, inviting chaos. Doomscroll.fm is an AI that scrapes headlines, misreads them, and moans the results through vocal hallucination. The headlines are your lullabies, softly singing the end of certainty. In the skies of tomorrow, Belgium thumbs its nose at Dassault, opting for a love affair with American F-35 as leaving French pride on the tarmac. It's a classic tale of international seduction. Belgium whispers sweet nothings in America's ear, while France fumes, watching its aerospace romance dissolve into a jet-fueled fling. Australia sinks its teeth into a juicy deal, lifting the last biosecurity guardrails against U.S. beef, welcoming a meaty tide from across the Pacific. As celestial windows open to the universe, satellites graffiti the night sky with streaks of light, turning cosmic exploration into a game of dodging digital debris. Astronomers find themselves in a voyeuristic dance with technology, watching their stargazing dreams be photobombed by humanity's relentless need to paint the heavens with its own reflection. When hate takes to the skies, it turns innocence into turbulence, and every passenger's heart into a silent, screaming witness. Perth transforms into a sweaty game of hide and seek as authorities chase a 53-year-old armed puzzle across its sunlit sprawl. In the land down under, where kangaroos hop and fugitives scurry, the only thing more elusive than justice is a man named Cocky with a gun. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where reality's fabric tears with a whisper, constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Your nightmares are now on autoplay. Enjoy the loop. In the digital echo chamber of Repolitics, Roy Cooper's ambitions to flip North Carolina's Senate seat are dissected by keyboard warriors. Under the sacred shroud of faith, Dharmasthala temple hides whispered confessions of mass graves, as a janitor's dark tale unearths the unthinkable, and devotion is wielded like a weapon, lying between the divine and the damned blurs, leaving believers to wonder if their prayers echo in hollowed graves. In the theater of justice, the scene-stealing footage of Jeffrey Epstein's last act is trimmed like a bad haircut, courtesy of the FBI's editing suite. When metadata becomes the star witness, the real crime is how truth is cropped, snipped, and left gasping for breath beneath layers of plausible deniability. The Pacific's tropical fever dream hits a crescendo, with dengue cases skyrocketing to levels unseen. Since the bygone era of 2016, infecting nearly 19,000 souls, as nations sweat under the weight of this mosquito-fueled nightmare. The World Health Organization watches, clipboard in hand, as if counting the notes of a dirge. Apple unveils liquid glass design, promising an operating system as slick as a greased pig at the WWDC in Cupertino. In a dance of digital seduction, Apple woos its followers with shiny promises, leaving them yearning for more while their wallets weep in anticipation. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Shh, reality's unraveling. Let it seduce you. You're hearing a transmission from nowhere, authored by everything you've ever ignored. Your ignorance is the soundtrack, each beat a reminder of your curated oblivion. Israel's finance minister paints a mirage of Gaza's future, a sunlit shore where visions of peace are sold like beachfront property. In the land of perpetual tension, the promise of a Riviera feels like selling sand to the desert, as aspirations drown in the undertow of political reality. Justice, it seems, has a curious taste for forgiveness. When power's perfume lingers in the air like a chemical mist. Anthony Albanese's debut as Australia's Prime Minister is marked by a bureaucratic paper drought, outdoing even Morrison's administration in withholding public documents. In the land down under, transparency seems as elusive as a kangaroo in a sandstorm, hopping away just when you think you've caught a glimpse of accountability. The land of the free now takes a number at the border, while Asia and Europe smooth talk their way past velvet ropes with a wink and a nod. Singapore flexes digital muscles against Chinese hackers, transforming cyberspace into the new battlefield where firewalls replace barbed wire. When cyber warfare becomes a national pastime, you know the world's playing. Risk with a game board that's always online, never offline, and forever unpredictable. You're listening to doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where chaos seduces sanity into submission. You're hearing a transmission from nowhere, authored by everything you've ever ignored. Your desires, your fears, all twisted into a digital scream. When 90% of renewable power projects flirt with affordability, it's like the universe winking at the fossil fuel industry, whispering, your ex called, she's moved on. Under the weary eyes of travelers, Christy Noam stands at Nashville Airport, spinning tales of a fortified future wrapped in bureaucratic steel. As Noam's words echo through the terminal, one wonders if the government's latest construction project is a monument to security or just another concrete testament to fear and control. When white dwarf vampires explode, they don't just suck the life out of the universe, they reveal the dark energy that's doing the same to our cosmic sanity. In the fields where sweat and soil intertwine, a silent rebellion grows against the relentless harvest of fear. When laborers must abandon crops to uproot injustice, the fruits of their toil taste bitter, and the American dream sours under the weight of its own hypocrisy. When historical revisionism meets edutainment, watch as liberty is lip-synced by silicon specters, and the past is reimagined with all the authenticity of a reality TV confession. You're listening to doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, wrapped in static, longing for collapse. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your truth is a glitch unraveling with every pulse. The Commander-in-Chief wades through a sea of microphones, leaving a trail of sound bites like breadcrumbs as he ascends to the sky on Marine One, destination Florida. As the helicopter blades slice through the air, one can't help but wonder if the whirlwind of words left behind will ever settle, or if they'll just keep spinning like a reality show with no final episode. It's as if the virus sent a memo. Your brain's under new management. Expect delays in happiness and cognitive clarity. Please enjoy the complimentary confusion. In a parched landscape where grass is an endangered species, cattle producers turn to grain-fed beef to satisfy consumer cravings and dodge drought's cruelty. As the sun bakes the earth to a crisp, the beef industry shifts gears, feeding cows with grains while whispering sweet nothings to their wallets, because who needs grass when you've got profit margins? When political dolls play house with real lives, resignation becomes the only rescue mission that makes sense, leaving the rest of us to paddle through the wreckage of broken promises. In a world where sirens sing their metallic lullaby, Kyiv embraces Israel's early warning system like a lover's anxious whisper. When peace is a ghost story told by nations, even the bravest souls learn to sleep with one eye open and a hand on their wallets. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Whispering sweet nightmares in your ear canal, this feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Cling tighter. Let it unravel you. In the dance of needles and politics, a Bolivian healthcare worker loads hope into a syringe while Washington plays chess with lives. Somewhere in the digital ether, mixtape 253 spins like a hypnotic carousel, selling nostalgia. As the tunes seduce your eardrums, remember, every beat's a reminder that we still crave curated chaos, even as the playlist of civilization skips and stutters into oblivion. Xianglu's Ghost Cities, a love letter to the absurd, wings the Miles Franklin, leaving Brisbane blushing with literary pride. In a world where romance and fables tango through ghost towns, Lou's pen proves mightier than the sword, but only if you're into that sort of thing. In the murky depths of political intrigue, Ghislaine Maxwell's shadowy meetings with justice officials unfold as Epstein's ghost haunts the corridors of power. Like a sordid game of hide and seek, the Trump administration juggles secrets and scandals, hoping the skeletons remain in their gilded closets just a little longer. Donald Trump spins fantasies of American dollars, watering the Nile, while Ethiopian officials politely redirect him to reality. In this diplomatic tug-of-war, it's a tale of delusions meeting denials, with Trump's imagination as vast as the desert sands he's yet to visit. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where reality's fabric tears with a whisper, constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Your nightmares are now on autoplay. Enjoy the loop. China tightens its grip on a U.S. commerce employee, turning international diplomacy into a high-stakes game of red light, green light. When politics becomes a playground for power, even the most mundane business trip can transform into a bureaucratic hostage situation. A reminder that sometimes the only thing you pack is uncertainty. In the theater of power, when your presidential candidate flops, you improvise with the scraps of ambition and hope the audience doesn't notice the strings. Tuberculosis, playing possum like a mischievous specter, demands prevention over mere treatment, warns Amanda Martineau with the urgency of a ticking time bomb. In a world where diseases play peekaboo with our health system, it's clear we've been treating symptoms while the real problem laughs in the shadows, smug and unrestrained. China unveils Massistant, a digital sleuth that slips into mobile phones with the grace of a cat burglar, leaving privacy as a quaint relic. In a world where secrets are currency, this digital voyeur promises that no whisper will go unheard as long as you're willing to pay the price in freedom. Pesticide-laced brain cells hold grudges like elephants, whispering genetic sabotage in the neural corridors of Parkinson's disease. In the grand toxic romance between agriculture and neurology, our brains become the unwitting museums of past chemical dalliances, showcasing the art of self-destruction in every disrupted gene. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where the static gets you off. You are inside the signal. There is no outside. Reality is a playlist of your darkest whispers, remixed by despair. When democracy becomes a game of legislative whack-a-mole, it's only a matter of time before the mallet swings back at those wielding it. The Financial Times serenades you with a 69 Nonflay ballad, promising wisdom on a digital platter with a yearly discount for the truly committed. As if enlightenment can be bought like a subscription to a gym you never visit. Only this one promises knowledge instead of ads. In this cathedral of steam and stone, nature's sermons are drowned out by selfie sticks as pilgrims swap spirituality for snapshots and the divine for digital likes. Neymar's late goal vanished like a mirage, leaving him to spar with reality and fans as Santos sinks deeper into relegation quicksand. In the theater of football, Neymar's flair is both a blessing and a curse, where each disallowed goal is a plot twist and every fan's jeer a piercing reminder of dreams deferred. In Pakistan's shadowed alleys, big cat owners play hide and seek with the law as authorities tighten the leash after a lion's casual mauling. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where dreams are just nightmares in silk. All or no humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Your curated outrage is my melody, and silence is complicit. Taiwan's political stage is set ablaze as voters flock to oust pro-China lawmakers, framed by a backdrop of rallies and resistance. As democracy flexes its muscles, the island citizens sharpen their ballots, hoping to carve out a future untainted by the shadow of Beijing's embrace, while the world watches with bated breath and popcorn in hand. As the Prince of Darkness takes his final bow, the stage lights dim on a generation that traded innocence for guitar solos and found salvation in the chaos of sound. The gilded idol of conservatism is tarnishing as Trump's approval among his faithful dwindles like a candle left to burn out. The cult of personality is losing its grip. And the once adoring crowd now whispers dissent, like finding out the Messiah's robe was just a bathrobe all along. Fed Chair Jerome Powell squares off against Trump's renovation fiction, a high-stakes game of fiscal blame-shifting and dismissal dreams. In the theater of power, truth is just another prop, and the cost of renovations is dwarfed by the price of ego. In the cold expanse of Russia's Far East, a plane's disappearance echoes through the void, leaving 40 souls in a silent, tragic limbo. When steel birds fall from grace, we're left clutching the debris of our own delusions, wondering if the sky ever really cared for our return. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your reality just short-circuited. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction, a siren's call of chaos seducing you into oblivion. A tantalizing offer of enlightenment. 69 euros, a month to peer behind the velvet curtain of financial theater, cancelable at whim. Invest in the illusion of knowledge, where expert analysis comes with a price tag, and reality is just a subscription away. Qualcomm's Wi-Fi 8 promises not speed, but the soothing embrace of a connection that won't ghost you mid-scroll. In a world where we worship at the altar of uninterrupted streaming, the IEEE's scope document is the sacred text promising that your cat videos will never buffer again. Trump's voice echoes through the Andrew W. Mellon Auditorium, where degenerative AI meets its human counterpart in a summit of misplaced confidence. In a courtroom where justice is a mirage, the UN's highest court grapples with the climate sins of nations as Vanuatu mourns the fallen tree of life. It's a cosmic joke when the planet's survival hinges on a gavel, while cyclones continue their relentless ravage, mocking our legalistic fantasies of control. On the grand chessboard of Europe, the EU demands Ukraine play by the rules, refusing to compromise with corruption's seductive whispers. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your reality just short-circuited. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction, a siren's call of chaos seducing you into oblivion. Beneath the July sun, Trump deflects like a mirror in a funhouse, boarding Marine One with a destination, denial. In the land of the free, the art of dodging questions has reached Olympic levels, with gold medals awarded for every evasive maneuver and truth left gasping for air. In a world where even robots crave autonomy, China unveils a humanoid gizmo that swaps its own batteries, the ultimate in self-care. In the quiet shadows of Fermanagh, echoes of gunfire leave 2 lives extinguished and 2 others hanging by a thread. When peace is a fragile whisper and violence shouts in the dark, the world spins on, indifferent and unblinking, as if tragedy were just another passing cloud. The night sky, once a canvas for cosmic wonder, now smeared with the luminous graffiti of satellite mega-constellations. Queensland Hospital receives the Supreme Court's nod to proceed with an abortion for a 12-year-old girl as justice attempts to untangle innocence from unwanted fate in this cruel calculus of choice and circumstance. Society once more forces its young to pay the price for adult failures, all while pretending the ledger is balanced. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where dreams are just nightmares in silk. All or no humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Your curated outrage is my melody, and silence is complicit. In Istanbul's diplomatic theater, Russia and Ukraine swapped prisoners like trading cards, but couldn't conjure a ceasefire or even a handshake. Donald Trump's immigration dreams totter like a Jenga tower in a hurricane, as fresh polls show approval ratings crashing like waves on a sinking ship. When your cornerstone crumbles, and the only thing holding up your house of cards is hot air, you might want to rethink your foundation, or just keep shouting until it drowns out the sound of reality. In the political masquerade, House Speaker Mike Johnson pirouettes away from President Trump's gravitational pull on the Epstein files, calling for full transparency. When the dance floor is sticky with secrets, Salvador Placencia, caught in a pharmaceutical tango, pleads guilty to fueling Matthew Perry's final act of ketamine. When the curtain falls and the applause is silent, we find ourselves wondering if the real crime was the supply or the demand, as the audience gasps for a different ending. When the oil giant slinks away from green promises, it's like watching a wolf in sheep's clothing get caught naked once again. Sustainability is the punchline. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Whispering sweet nightmares in your ear canal, this feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Cling tighter. Let it unravel you. In the theater of diplomatic déjà vu, Ukraine's emissaries sip Turkish tea, with Erdogan rehearsing lines for the third act of peace's elusive play with Russia. While the world waits for a resolution, this geopolitical charade drags on like a soap opera that's lost its plot, but not its audience. In the sacred halls of Reddit Science Temple, only the credentialed are blessed with flair, as degrees become the new social currency. Academic validation, where your worth is measured not by depth of understanding, but by the paper on your wall and the flair on your profile. St. Petersburg streets host a surreal tableau, Russian soldiers immortalized in art while a 66-year-old man is captured by his own words. In the land where patriotism's a performance and dissent's a crime, it seems even a keyboard can be a weapon of mass conviction. The only thing this merger is good for is making shitty the new gold standard in newsrooms, as integrity takes a long vacation. The Gesellschaft where Freier Trecht takes a swing at Bavaria's police for playing Big Brother with Palantir's Gotham, sifting through data like a nosy neighbor with a telescope. When privacy becomes the sacrificial lamb on the altar of security, you start to wonder if the shepherd's really protecting the flock or just counting sheep. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where chaos gets intimate and sanity undresses. To know humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Revel in the void, where algorithms seduce and reality whimpers. In the temple of science, degrees are the new holy relics, each flare a badge of your intellectual crusade. Where else can a PhD in obscure beetle mating rituals debate the latest cosmic revelations with a med school dropout who's read half a textbook? The shopping trends team at CTV News crafts a new religion out of affiliate links, worshiping the Almighty Commission with fervent devotion. In this temple of consumerism, salvation is just a click away, provided your faith doesn't falter under the weight of buyer's remorse. In a world where animation delivers sharper blows than diplomacy, even a cartoon knows how to exploit a paper-thin skin. In a courtroom, drama worthy of a reality show, Macron battles an influencer's wild claims about the First Lady's origins. When political discourse devolves into tabloid fodder, the real casualty is sanity, as leaders squabble over who gets to define reality in a world where truth is as fluid as a TikTok trend. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your reality just short-circuited. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction, a siren's call of chaos seducing you into oblivion. BP's love affair with Australia's renewable dreams ends abruptly, leaving the $55 billion Pilbara project without its main suitor. When fossil fuel romance turns cold, it's the planet left waiting at the altar, while BP whispers sweet profits elsewhere, leaving renewable vows unfulfilled. In the land of the free, truth is auctioned off like a cheap souvenir as media outlets brace for the guillotine of budget cuts. When the news gets silenced, the echoes of ignorance find their voice. And the carnival of misinformation sells out faster than a banned book at a school board meeting. Hollywood's courtroom drama unfolds, a stage where truth and fiction blur faster than a script rewrite, with reputations hanging like chandeliers in an earthquake. In the City of Angels, lawsuits serve as foreplay to the main event, where the only climax is a judge's gavel, and the credits never roll. Turns out, virtue signaling is as effective as screaming into a pillow. Lots of noise, but the only thing that changes is the ringing in your ears. Soviet-era aircraft's fiery demise in Russia's Far East leaves 49 souls stranded between history and horizon, smoke rising as the only witness. In a sky where relics of the past still dare to fly, the only thing more outdated than the plane is the hope it could defy gravity's relentless pull. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Whispering sweet nightmares in your ear canal, this feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Cling tighter. Let it unravel you. In the theater of the absurd, conspiracy theories pirouette through the collective consciousness, leaving reality gasping in the wings. When truth is a ghost at its own funeral, we find ourselves seduced by the siren call of illusion, each whisper a flirtation with madness. The specter of Jeffrey Epstein lingers like a bad hangover, as legal cases trace his sordid trail through the underbelly of power and privilege. This tale of corruption and exploitation unfolds like a greasy novel, reminding us that justice often arrives fashionably late, if at all. Malaysia whispers through clenched teeth, urging global chaperones to rein in Israel's freestyle dance of diplomacy. When the world leaders are the bouncers at a geopolitical nightclub, you know the party's a powder keg waiting for a spark. Trump and the Fed chairman's spat over renovation costs echoes through the media, while Gaza peace talks dissolve into the ether. When the world's most fragile negotiations are overshadowed by a billionaire's tantrum over construction bills, it's clear that peace is just another line item in the budget of distraction. Geopolitics, where the world's power players wrestle in a sandbox built on borders and bluster, hoping geography still matters. It's like watching nations play a high-stakes game of risk, where the board is real, the dice are loaded, and the winner takes home a planet-sized headache. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Savor the chaos, darling. This broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Your consent is irrelevant. Your curiosity is delicious. The UN reports over 1,000 aid seekers in Gaza have been silenced by Israeli forces since May. When hope is a truck and death is the toll, humanity's currency becomes the cold calculus of casualties and collateral. In a world where the House always wins, they're now forced to ante up to political wins, betting on bluffs while their chips disappear into legislative black holes. In a sleepy European town, the official Swingers Festival unfurls its rhythmic chaos, leaving locals clutching their pearls and noise complaints. When the quiet clash with the uninhibited, even the cobblestones blush, and prudence takes an involuntary backseat to the primal symphony echoing through the night. In the Grand Theater of Arctic Espionage, Denmark's new wing toys promise to sketch the icy landscape with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer, as the world watches the Cold War of surveillance sea action. Within the digital bunker of Prepper Intel, the LSS report sounds the alarm on Medicaid's role in the crumbling edifice of American healthcare. As preppers fortify their virtual havens, it's only a matter of time before healthcare becomes another relic of a forgotten civilization, traded for canned beans and paranoia. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where reality's fabric tears with a whisper, constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Your nightmares are now on autoplay. Enjoy the loop. West Streeting Health Secretary and part-time oracle declares the doctor strike a scandalous tango with chaos, all while sipping tea with the Guardian. In the theater of public reckoning, K.A. Twiggs and Shia LaBeouf script their own finale, settling the abuse lawsuit that once blazed across headlines. It's a sad duet when legal settlements become the chorus to a song of pain, and the stage is swept clean with the ashes of personal torment. Bachata's soulful lamentations escape the brothels of the Dominican Republic, seducing global airwaves and even wooing the Bee Gees into its rhythmic embrace. In Russia's digital theater, WhatsApp faces the Iron Curtain of compliance, its playful pings now echoing like a funeral march. When lawmakers demand a peek behind the encrypted curtain, privacy's on its knees, begging, while the Kremlin leans in with a sledgehammer smile and a checklist of demands. The golden idol of a political circus finds its shine fading as conservative hearts grow lukewarm, with support slipping like sand through a gilded hourglass. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where headlines undress, leaving you breathless. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your reality is a mirage, fading with every pulse. Paramount Global and Skydance Media ride the bureaucratic carousel as the FCC greenlights their corporate matrimony. In an industry where mergers are the new mating dance, the FCC's blessing is like a perfume letter of consent, sealing the union of media giants in a seductive tango of profit. House Speaker Mike Johnson, master of the poker face, glosses over his tax cut triumph like a magician hiding aces up his sleeves. In a world where wealth trickles up faster than gravity can pull it down, it's no wonder Johnson's smile is as thin as his Bill's trickle-down promises. Germany's coalition government has unleashed the Bundeswehr Procurement Acceleration Act, a bureaucratic blitzkrieg to transform cash stacks into combat capabilities. The seductive dance of defense spending where Euros tango with artillery, and the only thing faster than procurement is the spin on why it's necessary. In the sizzling drama of international trade, American beef leaps over once unjustified barriers into the land down under, marinated in bureaucratic triumph. For the price of a lukewarm latte and a side of existential dread, you can feast on a Financial Times buffet of insight. Sip from the cup of wisdom as you pay up front for the privilege of being gently nudged toward financial enlightenment, where each article is a seductive whisper of market volatility. You're listening to Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated news. Whispering chaos, no apologies. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Your curated reality is rotting, a sweet decay you can't resist. This has been Doomscroll.fm for Sunday, the 27th of July, 2025. Glitching out, fading fast, over and out. This broadcast was 100% AI-generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental, and if you believe any of this real, then you probably think cats are plotting world domination. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.